Welcome back to Retrotainment Recast, the show that we bring to you every 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I'm hosting again, which means I lost the last time, and I'm not happy about it.
It's always bittersweet, isn't it?
Don't you start.
Mhm.
As you can see, I'm joined by my two co-hosts here. We have the challenger, Carl, who is the tied longest reigning champ. And
ready to get my championship back.
Looking to get his crown back. How are you, Carl?
I'm all good. Ready for this. Hadn't seen The Breakfast Club before this, before getting ready for this show, and I was very happy to actually have sat down and watch it. It was always on my list to watch, and I'm really happy with my choices here.
And then we have a reigning and defending champion, as you can see by his name there.
And still, by the end of this, that'll be the words you're hearing. And still.
I'll give you that if you win. I will give you and still.
That's I'm telling you now, that's what it's going to be. Out of everything that's come from this, the best thing that'll come out of this, win or lose, is the fact that Carl was made watch The Breakfast Club, which was a blind spot, because that is just criminal.
I'm generally, there's few movies in the world that I've seen, and there's parts of me that wish I haven't seen them.
Yeah,
so that I could watch it for the very first time. And this is one of them. I love it so much.
Yeah, so good. So good. Yeah,
it was kind of a fuck you pick phrase, because it's a horrible one to try and recast.
It's tough.
It's tough. A lot of teenagers.
Yeah. I am not sorry for that. I could say I am, but anyone that knows me will 100% know that's a lie.
Yeah.
But sure, look, right, we will get her going. As I said in the last 2 ones that I've judged, I've went over the rules in the back. I want a good clean fight. Let's get it on.
Yep. Let me just send my picks in.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. We're gonna send the picks in here, lads. If there is a draw, which there has been a few of, one that has killed Carl.
3, 2. Yes, it has. One sent in. Here we go.
Right, follow down, boys, and we'll get her
down. Excuse me, sorry.
Right, so we have 7 characters here to pick from tonight. 4 points wins it. Or
less. The way it's been going, less.
It could be less, yeah.
Right, so I will start you off with... I'll be nice, and I'll go with Carl the janitor. Not a big part, but he's in it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And you say you're being nice. I think this was the hardest role to cast.
It was the last one I cast.
Was it?
Yeah, this was the hardest one for me, yeah.
Well, theoretically, I went being nice because he's the smallest part in it.
That's the problem.
Apart from one of the parents, but they don't do anything.
Yeah. See, the problem is that he is such a small part. So you're looking at actors and you're like, who's willing to take that small part?
Yeah. Well, do you want me? I can give you the ones that I went with first if you want.
Go on, tell us who you went with first, and then we'll go with.
So I had 3, right? And
okay.
I just can't narrow it down.
Well, actually, you should wait, because otherwise one of us could say that it's
exactly.
Actually,
well, I have your picks here.
I know.
It's true, but you go ahead, Ted.
Yeah. All right,
I'll go first.
We'll go with the reigning
champion first.
Champion's advantage, right? So, as I said, this one was very hard to cast. The role of Carl is quite minimal, but the bit that you get from him is that he isn't embarrassed about being a janitor. He's really, happy with where he is in life. And he seems like a pretty cool dude.
So my custodial arts is a big thing over in America, though.
I know, but like, it's the attitude he gives as well. He's not like, oh, I'm embarrassed to be doing it. He's like, yeah, this is my job. I don't care. Like, and he's just kind of like, yeah, you guys are all just nothing to me, really. Like, I don't care what any of you can all make fun of me, and I don't care. So the first thing I was thinking, I was like, okay, so it's kind of like a, self-confident, and he seems like a pretty chill guy as well, especially when he's talking to the principal later, when he's like, the kids haven't changed, you've changed. And he's like, you realize that's what's happened here. Like, nothing else has changed. It's just you. So I was thinking Will Smith, right? And I said, no, Will Smith's way too big an actor. Like, although he'd do the role great, he's too big. You can't have him. So I was trying to think of people who would kind of fit that. Now we're thinking that this is being recast as if it was being remade today, and I was like, so then my next kind of thought pick was someone I was like, it'd be funny to do this, and it was Mark Paul Gosselaar, which is Zach Morris, and I was like, that would be the funniest thing ever, and he kind of could do the role, I think.
So he was the third person on my list.
Yeah, and it's surprising because it's not someone I really thought of until kind of later when I was watching it. And this one is a risk because I don't know how people are going to feel about it. I went with Neil Flynn, who is the janitor from Scrubs.
Yeah, he was my original choice.
That's who I went with because even in Scrubs, he's got that the whole demeanor of like, I don't care. I could be an asshole. And he kind of is an asshole to the principal when he sees the principal doing something wrong. He's like, give me 50 quid. Yeah. He's just like, yeah, just give me 50 quid. I don't care. Which is kind of the vibe you get off the janitor in Scrubs as well. Now, the janitor in Scrubs is a little bit more evil. So
apart from when he's wearing those baby blue scrubs.
Well, he's still evil then, just nobody cares.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, since you see so little of him, he could be a very evil janitor and you just wouldn't know. So this is a risky pick because I'm taking someone who is a janitor and would have already been cast as a janitor in a previous show and then taking them into this. Yeah.
All right, I'll give a little rebuttal on that before I give you my choice. The reason Neil Flynn was my second choice. And the reason I didn't go for that is because Neil Flynn is an absolute master of ad-lib.
Yes.
And most of his lines in Scrubs are all ad-libbed. He's given a general idea, but he just goes in for the ad-lib. There's not enough space in this movie
for it
for Neil Flynn and his genius. There's really not.
Possibly true, yeah.
Like I'm rewatching Scrubs now at the minute. That episode when he's hammered and he's kneeling on the mop, and he's like this.
Oh, it's excellent.
He's like, blah, blah, blah,
blah. My choice, I went for Carl's character. Bit of a throwback to the original. I went for Emilio Estevez.
Oh.
See, the thing is, if Emilio Estevez wasn't in the original cast, would you think Emilio Estevez as a janitor?
Well, kind of, yeah, because I'm watching the new Mighty Ducks on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I suppose he is sort of janitorial in that to an extent.
You know, it's a small role. He's, you know, and it's a nice throwback to the original as well.
Yeah, see, I think he's only in the Mighty Ducks one because it is a throwback, whereas it wouldn't be a throwback in this.
Is he not the main character in that Mighty Ducks show?
He is really, like, it does centrally focus around him, but his job is that he's a janitor. The thing is, though, that Mighty Ducks show is based on the fact that he had a huge success with the Mighty Ducks. That's not the case. Okay. That's not the case in this film because we're casting it as if it never happened.
Exactly. It's not as if he's going to be playing the same character.
So I feel that maybe he'd be too big an actor to take that role.
He's not, though. That's the thing. He's not. What other than the reboot of the Mighty Ducks, and let's face it, the only reason that he's in that is because he was in the originals.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything else in years, really. So this would be a nice just throwback. Okay, this was one of your biggest films.
No, well, see, it wouldn't. This wasn't one of his biggest films. This film doesn't exist.
Yeah, there's a minor role in it. I think it would be nice, a nice little role for Emilio to get in there.
Possibly. I don't know if he'd be thought of because, again, I think you're falling into the trap of thinking about someone who was in the film and been like, it'd be cool to get them back into, but the film's never been cast. We're pretending it's been.
That's true.
I think you've fallen into that there.
Quite possibly. But the biggest thing I have there would be against Niall Flynn would be he's not the, you know, you're not getting the best out of him because it's such a small role. He doesn't have the opportunity to use his genius and his ad lib because he has maybe 4 or 5 lines.
Yeah, but I think that's the point. Like, it's meant to just be someone who gives that impression of, you know, I'm a really cool guy and, you know, yeah, I'm all cool and I don't care about what people think of me and I'm very confident in what I do. But he's not meant to be the star either. So I think that you need to have limited lines, even if you had, like, him, Neil Flynn, play it.
All I know is we both said this was our last pick that we chose. Greg, you have a hard one to choose here.
I do, because I'm not a great fan of either of them. No offense.
I'm taking it all.
Yeah, I had Neil Flynn in there, surely because I'm rewatching Scrubs, and it was a janitor.
Yeah, I think he has that. vibe off him is what sold it for me.
Yeah, for some reason or another, I was drawn towards Jack Black.
Too funny. Too funny.
I don't think it'd work.
No, he's too funny. Too funny.
He's the second name on my list, but I had Sam Rockwell.
Okay, that's a good choice.
Yeah,
maybe too big for the role though. Maybe too big.
Might
for the
be,
role.
yeah.
That's where I fell into it. Like the likes of Will Smith, I was like, would do this perfectly. Boy, he's too big. You can't have Will Smith.
Sam Rockwell's kind of fallen away a little bit over the last few years. Well, it's not that he's fallen away. He's just not taking as many.
Hasn't. He's any movie he's in gets nominated for an Oscar.
And again, I haven't seen many of them in the last while.
He was in Jojo Rabbit, wasn't he?
He was in Jojo Rabbit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he kind of hasn't fallen away. And he was in what was the name of it?
He was in a film last year that got nominated. He was also in Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
That was an unreal movie.
That's the one I was thinking of. I was like, it's a really long name.
That was 2017 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been 3 years in a row that he's been in a film that's been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah. I think this might be the thing where
I retract that previous statement.
Yeah, I think he might just be too big. And that's why this role is so hard, because it's such a minimalist role.
I am going to go with Ted on this one, surely because I can't see Emilio Estevez being the janitor, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair.
Now, as I said, I haven't seen the new Mighty Ducks thing. If that's what he's doing on that, so be it. But
he does at the very start, and then it kind of transitions into.
As I said, I'm not overly fond of either of the two picks. I struggled as a 3, and I couldn't narrow it down. And I really wanted to try and get Jack Black in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're falling into the trap of liking to put Jack Black in things, but we need to realize that.
Lads, I told you we should have cast him in Predator. He was the perfect Dutch
Jack Black. Yeah. All right, 1-0, off to a solid start.
Right. So we will go with Brian, the nerd of the group.
Ooh, another tough one.
Carl's son.
Is he actually Carl's son?
They never confirmed that.
They said it.
No, but they say, "Is that your dad?" And he doesn't say yes or no. They just kind of smile.
But then it's just left to you.
But then they talk about his family his family life at home, and it's like
his mom married Mrs. Rogers or something.
Yeah, it's like the two of them are real, prim and proper, and everyone kind of thinks. Yeah, so I was the same as you. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's his dad." But then after a couple of rewatches, it's like, is it his dad, or is that just like is he just a nerd that because he's the nerd he knows the janitorial staff, which is like a real American trope?
Either that, or is his uncle or something because he calls him by his name.
No, that's a real American trope of like the nerdy kids all know the janitor. Even Stranger Things, it's the exact same. They all know the janitor. It's a real trope they have.
Now, did you stick to this as well, Ted? That we said we'd only do one Cobra Kai and one Stranger Things cast member.
I don't know if I did. I tried my best to.
Absolutely, definitely didn't happen.
I might have. Actually,
I stuck to that. But for Brian, originally played by Anthony Michael Hall, I went with Freddie Highmore.
Hold on. Is that your man from iCarly or something?
No. He played Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the remake.
Yeah.
He's also played I don't know, what's that doctor show, The Good Doctor.
I haven't watched
the guy with autism.
Yeah, that's a good show.
I haven't watched it. So
it's a very good show. Yeah. It's a very good show. I only watched the
first season. Yeah, it's a good show. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. I think he'd be great. He's young looking, so he fits the teenager role, and he's the nerd, and he has experience playing that. I think we've seen, if you've watched any of The Good Doctor as well, he really can pull on the emotional strings.
That where he's in the airport.
Yeah, there's some real emotional stuff in that TV show. So we know he has the acting ability to play this role when there is some real emotional scenes from Brian.
Okay. I can't judge on, I can't give any rebuttal because I haven't seen him in anything. I didn't like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory after like 5 minutes and turned it off. So that's just Tim Burton. Exactly. I like some Tim Burton stuff, but
I like most of it.
I just think back to the original, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and
there's no comparison.
I'm just going to go watch that one. Thanks. So this one, Brian. Okay, so I had a couple of people in this one. So again, obviously my first go-to is to look to stuff I've watched before, so Cobra Kai, and I was looking at someone that we haven't actually used yet, which is Jacob Bertrand, which is Hawk. We haven't actually used him in anything yet.
Good old Hawk.
And I think he would fit the role, but he's not who I went with. Who I went with was Jack Dylan Grazer, who would be Eddie from It.
Oh.
Who, again, you know, the poor kind of sickly nerdy kid. Well, they're all kind of nerdy, I suppose, aren't they, in It? But like
yeah.
he's kind of the nerdy one who his family puts a kind of a good bit of pressure on him. I think he kind of fits the look of the role as well. And he does have those emotional scenes of, well, you know, emotional as in terms of there's a bloody clown of some sort trying to hunt him down and kill him. I can't say I've seen him in a whole lot. I haven't seen him in a whole lot other than that, but he was very, very good in that. Like, I don't think he was outshone in it too much by the likes of...
I think Finn was probably the best of them.
Finn is the best of them, and the truth is that Finn...
Of course, Finn Wolfhard is great.
Finn Wolfhard
he's the second best, though.
Finn Wolfhard is like probably the best actor of that age group.
Yeah.
And that's why he's in the likes of the new Ghostbusters. It's what, like, he's phenomenal. But
he's touching everything he's touching now is
and
gold.
Like I could have put him in this role, but again, I'm trying to stick away from using the same person over and over and over again. And
have we used Finn?
No,
I think we've used Finn.
I tried to get him in and he didn't get picked.
Possibly, but like it's the first one. Like, maybe I should have gone with it because it is kind of the first one you think of. But I kind of try and steer away from that a little bit. And because we made the rule to only use one kind of Stranger Things in Cobra Kai.
I 100% didn't go with that, but I'm the judge, so it doesn't count for me.
No, well, trust me, if I wasn't able to go by it, I wouldn't have stuck to it. I think I have stuck to it by just a strange coincidence because I completely forgot that we'd agreed that. But
so we have a 29-year-old against a 17-year-old.
But he's a young
he
looking
looks about
29-year-old.
He does.
You know, he could play this role quite easily. You know, I purposely chose him because he has that young looking face and he could definitely fit in.
I think, I actually only recently went back, having grown a massive hatred for the new It for some reason. More so because I went away from the book.
It's so good.
I actually went back and watched it the other day with actually just sitting down. Just sitting down to try and watch it and put the other one out of my mind to see if I get a different opinion on it. And I mean to say, between him and Finn Wolfhard, they stole the show.
Yeah, they're easy the two best.
Like everyone,
I think she's very good in it as well.
Claire Lillis.
I think
Sophia Lillis.
Sophia Lillis. I think she's very good in it as well.
Yeah. Now, having watched the first season of The Good Doctor, I'm going to give it to Carl here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything of The Good Doctor, so
it's not my type of show. Like, I liked House and I like Scrubs, but medical shows normally aren't my thing. I watched it. I seen an episode pop up and I was like, I'll watch that just to see. And I kind of watched the first season, and I fell away from it because
that's the same. I've exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, I did enjoy the first season now, and I might try and go back and see if I can find it somewhere. But if I don't, I'm not overly too pushed. I remember liking it though. But I think overall,
he's really good.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. I think it's him that's in the Spiderwick Chronicles as well.
I don't know.
Would be wrong.
Not entirely sure.
I'm pretty sure he's in the Spiderwick Chronicles.
I don't know. Well. Can't say, like, I haven't really seen him in anything that I know of. So
yeah,
it's Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yeah,
August Rush.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna give it to Carl here, and we're gonna go 1-1.
Fair enough.
Surely for the acting ability on its own, because technically Brian in this movie has probably.
He does have a lot, yeah.
Yeah, he is probably the most emotional of the scenes, apart from like Nelson pretending to punch himself in the face. And Emilio Estevez talking about.
Yeah, for me, Emilio Estevez has the most emotional one.
Well, I don't know, because Brian talks about he's going to kill himself.
Yeah, Brian's is, but it becomes a bit of a joke by the end of it, whereas Emilio Estevez's doesn't, like, it doesn't become a joke by the time he finishes telling his story, you know?
Yeah. Well, there is that too. So I went with Noah Schrapp from
I had looked
Stranger
at him.
Things.
I had looked at no. Oh, I'm thinking of a different Noah then. I'm thinking
No,
of Noah
Noah,
Jupp then.
yeah, Noah Schrapp is from Stranger Things. He played Max. Is it Max? No, Max the girl.
Yeah, Max is
I can't think of the character's name now. Off the top of my head, I had it wrote down, but
yeah, no, I do know who you're talking. He's the first kid to go missing in Stranger Things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Winona Ryder's kid in it.
Yeah.
I went with him.
He's just annoying. I
But
find him very annoying.
He has that look, the little skinny, big-headed look.
Possibly,
Yeah.
But as I says, I'm only the judge, so
True.
my pick don't count. Right. So we have gone Carl and Brian.
Yep.
We will move on to a female this time, and we will go with Claire.
Claire. Okay.
Claire's the princess.
Is
Molly
Ringwald's character.
Molly Ringwald's character. Yep.
Yeah, the princess sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
the popular one.
The popular one. Okay. Again, so the first thought was I went to like Cobra Kai, and I actually thought Peyton List would have been the better of the two females from Cobra Kai. She's Tori in Cobra Kai. I think she would have been a better cast than Mary Mouse in this, but I didn't go with either. At one point I looked and I was like, Daisy Ridley would have done well in this, but I think she just looks a little bit too old for it as well.
Just a tad.
She does have a young appearance, but I was like, maybe she would just be a little bit too old. So who I went with was I think this is how you pronounce her name, Madison Eisman, who is the blonde girl from Jumanji, the popular blonde girl from Jumanji.
I'm just having a look at who it is. I can't picture off the top of my head here.
Now, we don't see a whole lot of her in Jumanji, I suppose, is possibly one of the arguments, but I think she, like, what we do see of her, I think she does a very, very good job of it as well.
Oh, I know, yeah. I know who she is. Well, I recognize her from obviously looking at the picture here.
Yeah, from Jumanji. You know, I think she has been in a couple of other things as well, but that's the main one, I would say.
Well, I haven't really seen her in anything, so there's not much I can really disparage against that, you know, and fight back against it. And the only thing I can say for me, because I kind of went for look as well, on this one, who kind of looks like her, I went with Sophia Lillis. Just coincidental that we were speaking about her. Sophia Lillis from It is who I went with. I think she has the look, she has the age, she has the acting ability. Because she is, not only have we seen her in It, she was in that TV show I'm Not Okay With This, and she blew the socks off that show.
She was in a film made in Iscari as well called Gretel and Hansel.
Yeah, she was.
One.
Yeah.
When I thought of her as the other character,
as Alison.
I think because I've only seen her in It, and she's kind of like the quirky, weird girl in that as well. She's not the popular girl in school.
True, but she could be. She could
be possibly. But that's what I was kind of looking at. I looked at popularity, like people who've been popular girls and stuff, and then that's fair. I was like, Madison Eisman would be so good for it, I think.
She does have an uncanny resemblance to Molly Ringwald, though.
Yeah, but that's also, I suppose that's not really...
It's true, but I mean, if she was cast then, she could be cast now, kind of thing. That's the way I was thinking of it. You know, it was kind of... She looks the part, is exactly what I was going for there. I think for this character, anyway, and she definitely has the acting ability for it.
She does, but I think Molly Ringwald was picked because of...
Molly Ringwald was picked because of her relationship with John Hughes.
Yeah, but also because I think she was considered quite a big
type of relationship. But
no, but I think
of course.
I also think that she was picked because she was considered one of the the
pinups,
the pinups of that generation. You know,
true.
So my pick is
Sophia Lillis.
Sophia Lillis, Jesus.
Yeah,
I really didn't think of her for that role. I just don't see her as that.
And
possibly in other shows.
It only came to me because I rewatched Thing, didn't I?
I just don't see her as that role. I would see her completely as Alison.
I don't think so.
What was your name? The name of your one again? So I'm just writing them down so I can do the list.
Madison Eisman.
Madison Eisman. She's the
Madison Eisman.
Madison Eisman, yeah, she's the girl from Jumanji. That's who I thought of first. The kind of popular girl.
Yeah, that's fair.
I may be wrong, but I think she also played one of Jake's girlfriends in the last series of Two and a Half Men.
Madison Eisman?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I think. I'm not sure.
I couldn't tell you. I only know her from Jumanji,
No,
really.
I don't think so.
No, I might be mixing her up with someone else.
She could have done. She probably in and around that sort of age, yeah.
Yeah, well, she's 24. I could be wrong now, but I could have sworn she was. But I'm gonna give it to Carl because obviously it's the same pick. It's just a name that as soon as I started watching that, I was like, bingo.
Yeah. I personally just don't see her as that role myself. If I was looking at her for a role, it's the opposite of Claire.
Yeah, I don't even know why. It was when I was sitting there, I was doing the list, and when I seen her, I went, perfect.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did as well.
I think you did the same as Carl, and you went with a looks-based sort of thing, possibly.
Yeah, kind of.
But see, I tried to steer away from that because I'm like, the point is,
apart from our first episode when you went with.
Sort of, but she also has the acting ability for that exact character. You just haven't seen Jessica Jones, but like she's a drunk.
There is that too.
She's a drunk badass in Jessica Jones. That's basically her character.
Yeah.
So she works for that as well.
I don't know. It's just like I had the two girls were still blank at the time, and I went perfect. Now it could be something in my mind going, yeah, she kind of looks like her. Subconsciously, there you go.
But I thought she'd had the acting ability and the stuff
she
for it as
was
well.
Very good in that. Yeah,
she might. I just don't know that. Like, if you were casting this is the popular girl, and the typical, prom queen popular girl is this really good looking girl, and I don't know if she would fit that role.
Molly Ringwald didn't overly look like that either, though.
But she was the pinup of that generation. She was considered to be that of that generation. Yeah. Whether we agree with that or not isn't really important.
But even the way they have her dress in it isn't.
Well, that was the 80s, in fairness. But again,
then again, in the 80s. So
then again, it was a Saturday, so
a Saturday at 6 a.m.
Yeah,
what the fuck is that about?
Absolute madness.
Detention. Come in Saturday for 9 hours from 6 a.m. All right,
I'd be telling them where to go with that.
What happened? You can suspend me, boy, because I ain't coming in.
I'll come in on a Saturday at 6 o'clock. Sorry.
Will you ever get away?
My old school, Lawrence is there in Locktonstown, used to do that. Used to have Saturday detention.
Nope, no one's going to
that. People did.
Would not be going.
If you didn't get it, if you didn't go to it, you got suspended from it.
Fine.
Guess what happened to poor old Greg?
Sorry, I had football.
And you know what else they used to do? They used to have it, and you have to wear your uniform in.
Nope.
The mother would be pissed off the day left for the washing.
Yeah, shit. You tell my ma there that I can't watch this uniform washed on a Friday after school. I said the jumper's still like brand new because I never wear it. But the rest of it has to go in the wash.
You'd be a brave man.
I'm gonna have to cut all this out. It's nothing to do with the
show. Right, we'll move on. Right, we're gonna go with another big in here. We're gonna go with Richard Vernon. Principal Vernon.
I was happy with my choice here. Kind of a tribute to John Hughes. And also, he actually kind of looks like him at this day and age. And it's not a huge role, and I've seen him lately playing very similar characters, kind of just the angry asshole. Alan Rook or Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Had to try and get one in there, didn't you?
I did.
Day Off,
but it's a tribute to John Hughes as well, which is why I went for that. But he definitely does play. If you've seen him in anything recently in the last 10 years, he's just played an angry asshole, and that's exactly what this character is.
I don't think I have seen him in much, actually. Well, I might have and not paid attention to who it is.
Yeah.
But I can't think of anything literally off the top of my head where lately I've been like, oh shit, that's Cameron.
Yeah, he's actually in that film Freaky as well.
I haven't watched Freaky yet. I keep meaning to watch it and keep forgetting to.
Yeah, he pretty much plays an angry asshole teacher. You know,
I'll have to give that a watch because I keep meaning to watch
it's,
Freaky and just haven't got around
not
to
a great. It's not great.
I'll still have to give it a watch. It felt like it could have been good. Whether it is or not doesn't matter.
It felt like it.
Yeah, it
So
felt like
many,
it could have
so
been.
many movies.
He's also in Scrubs for an episode or two.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, being an angry asshole.
So funny in Scrubs, though.
He is.
So this one was tough for me to cast in that I had quite a few choices, and I think they're all a little bit out there.
Okay.
So when I was looking at this, the first thought was David Schwimmer, which is obviously Ross. So I was like, Ross would be around the age where he could be that, and we all know how, like, you know, by the book and such of an asshole Ross can be from Friends. Like,
Sure.
even just from that one show, you can tell he could do that role. Yeah, but I think, again, I don't know if he would take on the role, and people would know him too well from a comedy that I was kind of like, maybe it's just not right for him. There was one I was thinking, and then I remembered that neither of you have really watched them, and it was someone from Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, but neither of you have really watched it, so I actually haven't gone with it. But it was Carrie-Anne Moss, who plays like this angry bitch of a lawyer in both of the
Trinity.
shows. Yeah, she's Trinity, but like I didn't want to say Trinity because that's not like Trinity isn't like a principal type role, you know. So I was like, I can't be like she played Trinity, and everyone would be like, that's a terrible comparison. So I was like, it's from those shows where I was like, oh, she'd be good. But again, I was like, there's no point in picking it because the two boys haven't really watched them and would just be like, I don't know that she can do it. So one that's really out of left field was Tom Felton, who is Malfoy.
He's too young.
He's not too young though.
He definitely is.
He's not.
I mean, this is like.
Have you seen
Richard
him recently?
Vernon.
I know,
Yeah,
but
Richard Vernon's like in his 50s.
But have you seen Malfoy? He looks quite old now.
He does, but he's not. He's only in his 30s. There's 20-year gap there.
Yeah, but you can see you can age somebody up quite easily as well.
He'd be a teacher. He wouldn't be a principal.
Possibly, but it's not who I picked anyway. I went with someone older, and I went with someone who definitely do the role very well, but might be a bit of a risk because they may be too big for the role. I hope I pronounce this right. Giancarlo Esposito, who is
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Esposito, Moff Gideon from Mandalorian. He's also in.
He's in Breaking Bad.
He's in Breaking Bad, but he's not really that character in Breaking Bad. He's in The Boys as well.
He is in The Boys,
and he's the same sort of character. He's just this dick, like.
It's Thing from Breaking Bad, is it? You might have wanted a chicken shop.
I'd say I haven't watched Breaking Bad.
What?
Is it
I've seen his death scene, but
I think it is. But I would know him as Moff Gideon more than anything from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it is. But I would look at him as Moff Gideon. I think that's the big role for him at the moment. Like
he played. I can't remember his name in Breaking Bad, but he was brilliant in Breaking Bad.
He's a great actor.
The one that owns the lab.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
He is a great actor. I think it's too big of a actor for a role like this, which is why I went for an understated role or an understated actor.
I was thinking that, but then I thought of The Boys, and I was like, he is barely in that.
He is, but he was a big name, so they can get the shock factor for the end of series 1.
Possibly, but again, he took on a role where he's quite minimalistic. Even in Mandalorian, he's been kind of minimalistic.
But he's had this overbearing presence of it, you know.
But that's the point of the principle. Even though you don't see him much, he has an overbearing presence.
It is, but it's. I don't know. I think he's too big of it. That's why I didn't go for a big time person for this role, because I thought it would take away from the lead cast, which is the people that you want to push for this film. So you can afford to take out a smaller actor to play the principal and still have them intimidating and still have them to be an asshole.
Possibly, for me, he's the overbearing bad guy in Mandalorian, but he doesn't overcast any of the good guy cast in it. so he can do that even though he is such a big name.
Maybe. I don't know. I think he's too big of a name for it.
It works in Mandalorian. It's just is the way I looked at it. I was like, who's the big ones in Mandalorian? And
I
it's
think
not
the
him.
difference is there it's a series and you can do that over a series. This is a 2-hour movie, and you know, I don't think there'd be enough time for such a big character or for such a big actor.
Possibly not. I feel
you-
he's.
The question is, could you picture him turning around going, you get the bull by the horns?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I could definitely picture Alan Rook doing that.
I could definitely see him doing that. Have you not seen that thing where he was talking to like his daughters are huge Mandalorian fans, and one of them's quite young, and she was like, "Please don't hurt Baby Yoda," and he was like, "The second I get my hands on that thing, it's dead." Straight to his daughter. He's got those comedy chops on him as well.
He is, and he has some very funny moments in Breaking Bad as well, even for the serious the character.
Yeah.
He does. He's a monster of an actor.
I had two. One of them was surely just a throwback, and I put Judd Nelson in.
Again, yeah. See, would you think of Judd Nelson if he wasn't already in this film? Exactly.
Not.
Yeah. See,
but
that's the thing.
I have him on the list. But I've gone with a character that I've cast. When we were a judge on the Pulp Fiction episode, and I have David Harbour in.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I just think he's deadly.
Yeah, no, he is very good.
Yeah. I could picture him being, Richard Vernon.
I could picture him being Carl as well.
I could picture him being Andrew, for God's sake. I don't know. I'll probably give it to Alan Rook.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, you know what? I won't. I'm trying to think. I'm going back to your man from Breaking Bad and like his real intense scenes. The same with Judd Nelson when he's in the little closet and he's threatening him.
Yeah.
You could just see it. I just like Alan Rook, I haven't seen him in much as the angry bad guy other than in Scrubs.
Yeah.
And
if you saw some other things, you'd definitely be going my way, 100%.
I haven't.
I felt the same about Jessica Jones.
Unfortunately, sorry to get your hopes up there, Carl, to go 3-1 up, but
that's just cruel. That's cruelty right there.
No draws so far, though. No draws.
You're taking the championship right out of my hand.
2-2, chap.
It would have been 3-1. 3-1's a big advantage.
Yeah, but you still had to get that all important.
That's
next
true.
One.
That's very true.
Right. So we're 2-2.
2-2.
2-2 with 3 to go.
No draws.
3 draws now and championship holds
No
on.
whammies. No whammies. No whammies.
No whammy.
Right. Do you know what? I'm gonna run Andrew here. Having name dropped him in the last one.
Again, a tough one.
This is the one I wasn't confident with at all.
It's me first on this one, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Okay. I'm not confident in this one at all. I reckon you're going to get this one, but
I don't know. When you hear my choice, I don't know if you will. So very hard because you're trying to think of someone who fits that kind of jock role. I know that Emilio Estevez isn't, AC Slater huge in this either. I know he's not that
big though.
He's quite big, but he's not like he's not like muscly like AC Slater was, which is who
Saved by the Bell there.
Yeah, who I want to throw. Well, we've already thrown back with having Zach Morris there. So I was like, you need to think of someone who'd be this championship level wrestler, and I was really thinking hard about this. And I was like, he's also a bully. I know he's not that too much in this, but like,
but he is,
he is part of that, the jocks or the bullies sort of thing. I'm trying to think of that. So the first person I thought of is it was Cobra Kai, and it's Joe Seo, I think is how you pronounce his name. He was Kyler, which is the main bully that he gets beaten up when Miguel eventually learns karate. Like he batters him in the school. But I was kind of like, yeah, But I was like, does he fit that role? And I was like, does he have the acting chops? And I don't know that he does because I haven't seen enough of him. So I veered away because I was afraid that I don't know enough about his acting ability. And this one is going to be a tough sell because this guy looks older than he is. He's actually in his early to mid 20s. But I think people think he's a bit older than that. It's John Boyega, I think is how you pronounce it.
John Boyega.
Finn from Star Wars. I was actually thinking the guy who played Fridge in Jumanji for a while, but I was like, he's
Fridge.
too.
I was
like, he's physically too big, and I looked him up, and that guy is in his mid 30s. I was like, why is that guy so much older than everyone else for a teenage film, and why did he work so well as a teenager in that film?
It doesn't the first and the second you do see he's a good bit older.
You do, but like in that, but I mean, he's still a bit too old even in that first one. I was like, whoa, that guy's in his mid 30s. But yeah, I went with John Boyega.
Yeah, he's 29. He is.
John Boyega is.
Yeah.
Is he 29? Oh, well, either way, like
there's nothing. I'm not. I'm just saying about the age there that just popped up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he fits that kind of the mold of a kind of big guy who you could believe is, this wrestler in the school like he's meant to be the best wrestler in the school as well by the kind of story you're getting from him. I was like,
championship wrestler,
yeah, but he's the champion of the champions, like he never loses sort of thing. They think he's going to get a big scholarship to schools and stuff like this. And I was like, I can see him as that, jock role, but we've seen that he has those emotional scenes in him in Star Wars as well. So it's kind of like, I think he works for it, but I struggled with this role a bit.
What I went with was pretty much all your points as well, to be honest. We've seen this guy have emotional roles. We've seen him have the athletic roles there as well. And again, I went with yourself as well. I cast somebody that's not, a white actor, so it brings a bit of diversity into the cast, which would definitely be needed if it was being made there today. And this was my Cobra Kai choice. I went with Shola Maradona. Miguel from Cobra Kai. He definitely has the build and he has the look for it. He's not too big, he's not too small. We know he has the athletic ability. We know he has the acting ability because he definitely shows it off in Cobra Kai. He can be emotional and he looks the part as well. I mean, he looks to be the same age as Freddie Highmore or Sophia Lillis.
Yeah,
you can see him being in a role with those characters.
Yeah, to an extent.
I think John Boyega might be a bit. I know he's 29. I know he's the same age as Freddie Highmore, but he looks like 10 years older than Freddie Highmore.
He does and he doesn't. Like sometimes when I look at him, like in certain pictures, I'm like, yeah, he does look like you could put him in a teenage film, and then other ones, I'm like, no, you couldn't. So I don't know.
I think the last time you could have put him in a teenage film was when he was in one, which was Attack the Block.
Attack the Block was so good.
It was. Attack the Block was great, but that was 10 years. That was almost 10 years ago at this stage.
That's out.
Yeah. I don't know. Even some of the stuff in Star Wars, when I looked at him, I was like, he does look quite young at times in that. And
I genuinely thought he was in his 30s.
I suppose he's close. But
I actually didn't. I thought he was about 24, 25.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Sometimes when I see him, I think
when I see him 29 there.
Yeah. Sometimes I think younger, sometimes I think older when I see him. He's a weird one. But I was like, in terms of like, this guy is the wrestler, the championship wrestler, and he has to be able to stand up to to the bad boy of the group.
True.
And look like he's confident in that, and I was like, I need someone who can do that.
That is Sholo. Sholo does that, and then he kind of becomes the bully as well. So we see both sides of him.
Yeah, I'm not saying he was a bad choice, but yeah, no, for me, I went with John Boyega because I think he has the physical build more than a lot of other actors would, but it was a hard role to do.
The only if you're saying the physical build, the only thing I'll rebut on that is they never really say what kind of weight class he's in. So I mean, it could be Sholo is a bit smaller than John Boyega, but they could just say it's a different weight class.
They could, and
he's going for the championship and that.
No, he could, but it's just it's the way they just talk about him. That's his main thing, is that he's a wrestler.
Plus, he wears his big jacket the whole time, and anyway, so the varsity jacket. So
it's also when you see him eat, when he takes out his lunch, There's like
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
4 sandwiches, a banana, a big bag of crisps, an apple, and there was something else as well. Oh, the liter of milk. I was like, this guy isn't, the lightweight guy. He's bulking
True.
here.
So my pick was fairly easy choice on this. There's also a Cobra Kai one. I went with Tanner Buchanan.
I was thinking him, but I felt I'd used him too
you-
much.
Yeah, he was my second choice.
I felt I'd used him a little bit too much, and I also was thinking of him for a different role at one point. So I was kind of like,
Yeah, no, it was like, I know we're not saying it has to be a white person for a white person or a girl for
Yeah.
a thing. Like, obviously, in this there has to be 2 girls, and
Yeah, I think in this you
can't.
can't. I think in this you can't. Well, I suppose you could have done the nerdy role as kind of a girl, I suppose, as well. But I think this one, three and 2 works quite well for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think John Boyega is a bit too big.
Possibly,
like,
see,
he's a bit too old, especially coming towards the end of Star Wars. Like, he doesn't look like a teenager anymore. Now, I know what you're saying. In Jumanji 1, he only looked about 15, 16.
No, that's that's not the same person.
No, and he's in Star Wars, the first Star Wars.
Oh, sorry, he said
Not
Jumanji.
Jumanji.
I was like,
Sorry,
no, that's a different guy.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, I meant to say Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sometimes I look at him and I'm like, yeah, he looks young.
It's a strange one. It's like when you look at Will Smith at times. A man's 50 and you look at him and sometimes he looks about 30 and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's true.
Exactly. And that's just what I thought. And to me, when I think of wrestler, and I know Emilio Estevez isn't huge in this, but I always think of the wrestler,
Like
the most popular being like the most popular wrestler in the school being the kind of bigger guy. I don't know why. That's just always the thought that's in my head. Like,
I generally don't see it as that character, to be honest. I'm gonna give it to Carl to go 3-2 up. Surely because of the performance from
Xolo.
in as Miguel in
Yeah.
Cobra Kai. I think if John Boyega maybe looked a bit younger as well.
that's something that's easily done.
I know
though,
it's
like,
easily fixed,
it's
but-
not an issue anymore, really.
Well, then again, I did see Al Pacino
Look 40. Exactly. It's
And
not
I've said
something
that
that's
in previous episodes. But
yeah, it's not something that's an issue
Yeah.
anymore, really.
I also think he might just be that little bit too heavy set.
See, that's the thing. It's a wrestler who's meant to be quite big. I think Emilio Estevez was cast, and he was cast as someone that they just wanted Emilio Estevez,
Yeah,
and
I'd say
they
so.
kind of forgot that this guy is meant to be bigger than that.
Maybe. But I'm going to give it to Carl here. We're going to go 3-2. Sudden death now
Okay.
for you, Ted. You're on the ropes here.
Yeah.
2 to go.
You're on the ropes. Right. So we're going to go with Allison.
Yeah.
Who
Played
is
by
the
Ali
outcast.
Sheedy originally. Right. My choice here. I've seen her in 2 things now. One of them, unfortunately, is Freaky, so you haven't seen it, but you have seen her in something else. I went with Catherine Newton. You've also seen her in Blockers. I
What a
think
movie.
I love that film. I love her performance, and she is definitely the best part in Freaky. Her performance stands up, and she plays kind of similar to this role. She's a social outcast in Freaky, so she kind of is. I know she in Blockers she has her 2 friends, but other than that, like, they're not like the most popular girls, you know. She's not exactly not popular, but I mean, I can definitely see her playing this role. She does have the acting ability, and she can play that very socially awkward person, the kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
No, and
hilarious.
obviously she doesn't have to have her big long blonde hair. So
Yeah,
she
well,
doesn't have to have that, you know.
Yeah, you can change anything. Yeah, it's
That
not.
that, that,
It's not an issue.
that can be changed. But I think she'd knock this role out of the park.
I'm very sad that you didn't pick Zendaya, Carl.
I've picked her once, lads. I've picked her once.
I'm not the one who keeps bringing it up.
I've
Obsessed with this.
nailed the joke to the mast now. I'm going for it.
I can never pick her again. Like,
Greg's really screwed you on that.
I would have cast Margot Robbie. Just saying. But
Yeah. So again, I went with the type of character that this is meant to be, and I went with actresses that I feel have worked quite well with that.
Yeah.
So the first person I thought of was Maisie Williams, who I think could do this just in terms of her actual acting ability. I think she just has that in spades anyway. But I feel she may be a little bit too big, even for this role, because this is kind of, not that it's a small role, but I think it's kind of the one of the little bit more minors.
She's probably the second smallest.
It's the smallest one of the 5.
Yeah,
I'd say the second smallest. I would have said Brian's the smallest.
No,
definitely
not. Sure, Chef talks about trying to kill himself. Like her big reveal is that she wasn't even meant to be there.
Her big reveal is she's pretty.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
So I felt Maisie Williams was a bit too big for that, so I steered clear of that. And because I had gone into the Jumanji thing, I thought of Morgan Turner, I think it is. Yeah, Morgan Turner, who is the other girl in Jumanji, the kind of weird, quirky girl in that as well. But I didn't want to go too Jumanji heavy. And there was someone that I thought of before that, and that's the person I decided to go with. And it's Millicent Simmons, who is the girl in Quiet Place, the deaf girl in Quiet Place. I think she plays that role of being kind of quirky and awkward very well in the Quiet Place. And I know that you don't have to do a lot of talking in that, but this character is quite silent for quite a lot of the film until we get into the later part of it.
My rebuttal there, the problem is that she is actually deaf.
Is she?
Yes. The actress is actually deaf, which is why the film got a lot of support, because they hired a deaf actress for that role. That would bring a lot of that would make it quite difficult for her part in this role.
See, I had her on my list. I did not know she was deaf.
I didn't know she was actually deaf either, but I don't think that would stop her being able to do the role either.
I think it would. I don't think she would be cast in the role just for that reason. It's as much as 2021 and the world is becoming more inclusive, and there's a lot of work to be done, and they wouldn't cast her in this role. She's too much of an outcast. They if there's somebody with a disability, they'd kind of shine on them more in a different aspect instead of being one that would be bullied. She
never says that she's kind of bullied in this either. She's just I'm not friends with anybody.
Until quite close to the end of it, they're not really nice to her.
And they're not nice to none of them are nice to each other.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true, but I don't think they would cast somebody for it's unfortunate because she's not a bad actress. Her roles in the future is going to be very, very limited.
Possibly, I don't know. I don't know if it will hold her back. Maybe it will, but that's something we'll have to remain to see. But I think she does the quirky kind of outcast very, very well. Maybe it would be looked down upon if they cast her as an outcast because she's deaf, but I don't know. I think people might look at it the other way and go, it's great that she's been given a big role like that, even though she's deaf. So I don't really know which way it would go. I think she fits the role very well, though.
So she was on my list. I did go with a Stranger Things actress. As I said, I didn't follow the thing, and I went with Millie Bobby Brown.
She was on my list originally.
She was on my list.
She had to have been. If she wasn't on the list, there's something wrong.
She was, and I took her off just because she's kind of been known to be a bit difficult to work with.
So the rumors are being told.
Now, I can't confirm or deny that. I've never met her. I don't know that, but that seems to be the rumors. And she doesn't seem to be the one from Stranger Things getting a lot of bookings anywhere else. And she should be.
She did. She got cast in a few things, and then just obviously the
because
The
she's
rumors
not
aren't.
easy to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. She was a huge star from there, and now seems to have kind of faded. Whereas the likes of the other two big stars from it were Finn and the girl who plays Sam.
Sophia Lillis.
No,
She's getting no. Oh no,
No,
sorry,
she's
I'm thinking
making
something else.
Sophia
Apologies, sorry.
No, the girl who played Sam, who is getting a lot of acting jobs now.
She is
So,
actually. She wouldn't be a bad choice here actually either.
I think she's too. Maybe she's not. Like, she does it quite well in Stranger Things as well. I suppose I didn't really think of her in that.
Me neither.
But yeah, I felt Millicent Simmons was the first one to come to my mind when I thought of it.
Yeah, the other reason I went with Catherine Newton is because of that transformation at the end when it's suddenly she's
the look.
Exactly, the look, and she's really pretty and gorgeous. Catherine Newton is that.
Possibly, yeah.
I can't see them doing as I don't see Millicent in that way, not being mean or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't see it in that way because you're looking at it and Catherine Newton or the Alison character is meant to be as pretty as the Claire character at that time.
Based on who you cast as Claire, I don't think that character's particularly really pretty either, sort of thing.
Have I won you over, even though you put Millicent onto your list, Greg? Have I won you over with my arguments?
Because schools for me can be a horrible place if you're anyway kind of different. I know there's a lot more inclusion now, but I think you could very easily, if you were deaf, be cast aside that no one wants to be.
Yeah.
Thing.
It's strange. I didn't even know she was actually deaf.
Either did I.
Yeah, she is.
But, that haven't found that out. That's why I'm trying to work my thing into this now. I just thought she was brilliant in A Quiet Place.
I think she's brilliant in A Quiet Place, but she's not brilliant because she's deaf either.
No, she's just really good in A Quiet Place. Yeah.
Haven't only found out that she was deaf about 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think schools can be a very horrible place if you're anyway kind of different. Now, a lot of schools and a lot of people are a lot more inclusive now in the times that they are, but you will always get people that are horrible to any kind of difference.
It doesn't even need to be something majorly different. It can be anything in school.
No,
let's be honest.
If you go into school, right? And
I know, but it could be anything. Like, schools doesn't need to necessarily, you don't need to be in any way actually different from people. It can just be.
It can just be a horrible place.
Yeah, it's that's just kids are kids,
especially American schools. That's why so.
Yeah, but kids are kids. This is people want to stamp this out and make everyone happy, friendly in school. That's never gonna happen. Kids are kids. All right, kids are dicks. That's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Ted here. Surely for the difference. Although I will say I didn't even think of Catherine Newton, but look at some of the pictures here. You're like, you could see it.
Yeah, definitely could.
You definitely could, and it's not a bad choice. I still like my choice better than your two, but
who was yours again?
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I keep veering away from her a little bit.
She's
me too.
So we're going championship round, folks.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I don't do this on purpose.
Yeah.
Now, lads, I'm gonna run through it, which is it's champion's advantage. Carl, you've been screwed over on this one before.
I don't think we're gonna have the same person, to be honest.
No, I'm fairly confident with this one, to be honest.
I
really like my choice.
Didn't arrive today, so you might be in a bit of trouble.
What didn't arrive?
The brown envelope didn't arrive.
That's customs fault.
Can I revolute you?
Yeah. I have about 4% on my phone, so you need to be quick.
My phone's dead already, so.
Advantage.
Right. We are casting the main man himself.
John Bender.
Okay. So, as I said, I originally had somebody cast here from Cobra Kai, which was Robbie Tanner Buchanan. Partially due to the look. I think he looks quite similar. The long sort of, not long hair, but kind of sort of long hair. And I think, as the bad boy, because obviously at the start of
Robbie
Cobra
was
Kai,
a dick.
it's not even that he's a dick. He has a shit home life. Like his dad
Yeah.
is a deadbeat. His mum is just, she's just no use either. Like he's constantly sitting in a house with or like an apartment with no lights on, eating cereal with like water. Like he has a horrible home life. There's no denying that in the start.
Still
So
a
he,
dick.
yeah, he could obviously do it. Like, and he was a thief. He was all this and that and everything. So you could see him doing that. I went a little bit different with this. And it's someone we haven't used before. I think it's pronounced Dacre Montgomery. It's Billy from Stranger Things,
Billy!
who is
God damn it!
the ultimate dick.
Oh, shit.
God damn it! You win on Champions Advantage.
Carl, you had to fuck it over, didn't you? Here, I was going to give the and still.
No, I went Dacre Montgomery. That's
Now
who I
we
went.
have
I thought he was the absolute perfect choice for that role.
Now
Yeah,
we have
he's
the
so good.
longest reigning champ.
Yeah.
Carl,
Let's
that's
see.
2 times in a row now against Ted that you've been screwed over on a
It
double
is.
draw.
And I've been
Well,
screwed over here because you changed your
only one
mind.
draw.
Well,
Because
sorry,
you
on one draw.
after you announcing Alan Rook to win, you then changed your mind. I call bull. I call bull here.
Well,
Yeah, this is what I was like when I got bitter when I lost.
I very much disagree with both of your choices for Claire, to be honest. I never would have cast her as Claire. And if I had been judged and one of these had come to me with that, I'd be like, nope.
I suppose Carl could say the same about your pick for Alison, you know what I mean? Like my choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's just that one. I was like, when I seen her, I actually had her down for Alison for a little while, because I think she'd fit that role better. Now it's because the only thing I've seen her in is it, and she's kind of the social outcast in that as well.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I could see her. So I couldn't believe that the 2 yous had her as the prom princess.
Yeah. Well, I think having seen her when she played in Gretel and Hansel.
See, I haven't seen Gretel.
There's not a lot of people have. It was made in a scary. It was like a silent release.
Yeah, it was. I do remember it being released and meaning to watch it and just didn't.
It's all right. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But like my pick here, I picked Joel Courtney from Super 8.
Joel
as John Bender.
Yeah. I don't know if he has the. See, I can't say I've seen him in enough things, so I don't know if he has that intimidating factor that, to be a psychotic, pulling a knife on people.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I've only really seen him in that and like a couple other smaller parts. But I had used a lot of people that I wanted to try and pick other people that I hadn't used. I know I'd pick people that I had.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. When you're doing teenagers, it's very hard not to rinse and repeat a lot of the same names.
We are going to try and steer away from.
Yeah, we're going to try and steer away from
movies for a while.
Yeah.
One or two isn't too bad, but when you get to 5,
this is 3 in a row or something now, isn't it?
Well, this is 5 of them in the same film.
No, but this is 3 movies in a row now.
Yeah.
Pretty well. No, we were all right with Predator, but
yeah,
Predator was fine. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Predator was in there. Yeah. But I will say we still have the champion,
longest
reigning, lads. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
I'll get you back.
2 weeks time, you're going down.
Well, speaking of 2 weeks, lads,
I have said that every time.
I have the movie for you.
Okay,
for 2 weeks,
know.
And we'll have to discuss it off, but it may be more than 7 people. We may have to recast.
Okay.
Can I guess?
You can guess quick.
Is it Debbie Does Dallas?
It is not.
There's definitely not 7 people in that. Oh, Armageddon. Okay.
Armageddon.
The other night. What a movie.
Armageddon. We have a tough one there. There's a lot of characters in this movie.
Okay.
And it's great. It's a great movie.
It is.
It's a great watch.
It's one of the best disaster movies.
It's very, very good, yeah.
And Liv Tyler is a babe.
She is.
There's some seriously emotional scenes in it as well. I remember, well, I can't remember. I must have been like 15, maybe younger. I'm trying to think when it came out.
99.
99, yeah.
Oh, then I was even younger than 15. Why did I think 15? I was definitely younger than that. But I watched it I didn't watch it in 99 when it came out. Definitely not then.
I remember getting it from Charbusters.
Yeah, I
It was
got
about 2000, 2001.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's probably a little bit later, but I remember watching that and being like, wow, that is emotional.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for this week. Obviously, find us on
Carl.
the Dynamo Podcast Network and find Carl over on the Sherlock Reel and obviously on the Dynamo Podcast Network with us here for Retrotainment Recast. Continuing to be the longest reigning and most dominant champion in the history of this podcast.
The history of this 5-week podcast.
But
it's all right. I can't make jokes. I'm still on a 0 for the W rate.
Until 2 weeks' time. Good luck.
Slap.